Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. There's a midterm election coming up in November, so now would be a great time for a basic refresher on the basics of government. First on the list, what are the three theories of democracy? We hear it all the time, right? Russia attacked our democracy! Or, like at John McCain's funeral, one of his biggest priorities was spreading democracy throughout the globe. A free press is essential to having a healthy democracy. But what is democracy? Well, it's a system of government that is ruled by an entire population. The citizens of that population exercise their power through voting. Now, the purest form of democracy would be if every single person could attend a town hall and we would vote directly on every single issue that came up. But since there's over, 300 million people in America, it can't really work that way. So we have representative democracy. Okay, so there are three main theories for representative democracies, and it's actually really easy to see in today's government. The first is participatory democracy. It's more of like a majority rule or direct democracy. Now there's some really easy examples for us Utahns to see. On the ballot this November, there are initiatives that we get to vote directly about, yes or no. Have you seen the commercials where the little kids are talking about getting more funding for schools? Have you seen the billboards that say, vote yes on Prop 2, things like that? This is participatory democracy functioning in real time. Now, if you want to know more about the initiatives that are on the ballot this November, you could actually go to ballotpedia.org and you can read all about what's on the ballot. You can see the process by which the initiatives get on the ballot, and there's a bunch of information on there. The second type is pluralist democracy, or pluralism. This theory involves many groups competing against each other for political influence to gain more control over the policy agenda. There are many different groups, the American Medical Association, the NRA, the NAACP, the Children's Defense Fund. There's countless groups that are constantly competing against each other. In theory, no single group will ever emerge, which causes them to compromise, and we get kind of a centrist policy. Now, nowadays it kind of comes down to how much money one group has, how well organized one group is, so single groups tend to emerge and get more of their policy moved through. A really easy example to see is when, the Parkland shooting happened, and the governor of Florida came out and said he was going to raise the age limit from 18 to 21, and immediately the NRA came out with a statement that said this is unconstitutional, make their statement. But that's an example of a group, kind of vying for political influence. The third type is elite democracy, or elite theory, and this is when the wealthy or political few have influence over the government. Now, the ultra wealthy use their money and power to influence politicians, but they can also use it to influence the people. They can pay for massive ad campaigns, fund specific kinds of media, fund super PACs. There's many methods in which the ultra wealthy use their money to influence public policy. With the elite theory, it's kind of like the top decides what we're going to do and kind of pushes that down. Where in these other theories, it's more like the people decide what we're going to do and kind of pushes the power up through voting. A really easy example in elite theory, they're all over the place. All of the commercials that you can see, they're funded by super PACs at the bottom if you read the fine print. Or, the Koch brothers, they have their hands, they call it the Kochtopus, right? They have their hands in, advocacy groups, they do these massive ad campaigns. They put forth a lot of effort to actually change and influence the masses. As you can see, our government has aspects of all three of these theories. And there's pros and cons to each of them. But it's all fine and dandy to talk about, to know the differences, to see how they're functioning, but none of it functions unless the citizens do their job by voting. Participatory democracy only works if everybody casts a ballot. Pluralism only works if advocacy groups know what the issues are, so they can actually advocate for something. It's funny because the elite theory works best when people don't vote. So if we want a government that is actually ruled by the people, every person has to vote. There's this meme that's been going around that I really like. It's "Your vote matters. If it didn't, you wouldn't have people trying to suppress it. If it didn't, you wouldn't have billionaires trying to buy it. If it didn't, you wouldn't have Russians trying to hack it. Your vote matters, and use it in November." Well, that's all I have. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.